It was never in doubt. Arsenal smashed Newcastle at the Emirates 4-1 in a Saturday night game. This keeps the pressure up on Manchester City and Liverpool and makes them now 1 goal behind Liverpool in the top goal scoring charts. In a brilliant masterclass performance, let's go through the game and talk about some of the key players that really helped this team grow. Now, I know the mood was definitely down after the Porto loss. We didn't play well and it's a big Champions League game which we didn't really get the result we wanted. Of course, there always is a home leg, but the fact it's in quite a few weeks' time means that we've got to wait, and that doesn't make people happy. And it also leaves the fact going into this Newcastle game that we really needed a result, just from the fact that obviously you have to win every game, but also Newcastle are a team that have got the better of us this season earlier on, and their team is very emotional and their fan base gets very emotional about their team too, so it's just a grudge match and it's just turned into a big rivalry between Arsenal in the last 2 years. Now, straight away, I've got to say I apologise to Mikel Arteta. I thought he would go back to the Trossard system despite it not working against Porto, just because I think it would catch Newcastle off guard. But instead, he went back to that Jorginho double pivot that we all love and Havertz up front, which seems to be the real blueprint against big teams away and home when we play them. And I'm someone that loves Jorginho and loves the double pivot, but it didn't really work away against Newcastle last time, but I guess the team weren't really working the same way it is now. This game, we were super aggressive, which I think really helped. We were so aggressive at winning the ball back and got so much intensity keeping Newcastle in. Of course, Newcastle have some injuries and have some players just about coming back from injuries, so they did look a bit off it. But as soon as you squeeze and get closer to Bruno Guimaraes, he doesn't really have many options. He starts to crumble and he's not doing his FIFA celebration now. I also think it gave us a lot more pressure closer towards the box rather than further out. It gave a lot more runners on the ball, and when you've got brilliant passes like Jorginho and Rice, you can really pick any pass you want, and we saw this for so many of the goals where they picked brilliant passes through the midfield. A midfield of Rice, Odegaard and Jorginho is technically brilliant. They can do anything they want, and I think it really helped us. We caged them in and the defence in their midfield really struggled to handle it. And this team is so tactically versatile, it's definitely true. They're very difficult to prepare for. They thought maybe we were going to go for that Trossard system, but we went back to our double pivot, which works really well against big sides. If we're playing that against a side, then you know that we really consider you good. And it's more of a measure to get control more in the game rather than playing a team that we expect to. Then we can play Trossard and try and create something. And I think overall, a lot of the players deserve credit. I think we need to give huge amounts of credit to all our front six, really. I think they were excellent, and obviously our defence didn't really have anything to do yet again. Unfortunately, they conceded near the end, but Newcastle created little to nothing, having a 0.2 XG or something. So little yet again. I want to give massive credits to Martinelli. I thought in the 64 minutes he's played, he's come out a lot of scrutiny recently because his performances haven't been amazing. I'm not really looking at goals and assists because I think sometimes it's not really fair to judge, especially when we create so much, and some people certainly miss them. But I'm really liking his off the ball movement. I think he's a bit more dynamic now and isn't really settling down the left side waiting for a deep pass. I like it how he's moving around, letting people pick up them positions and letting it all adapt. I think a lot of this helps with the fact Kivior is obviously sometimes actually revolting into that left wing position. He's sort of covering it if Martinelli comes inside, and obviously this is when Arsenal got the pressure and a lot of people up the pitch. This is overly happening and helping the team a lot to get up there, and I think it's given us a lot more options. He also did consistently movement in the 64 minutes he's played where he came into the middle and put a through ball through, and I thought overall he looked like a much more better dynamic winger that can actually freely move around and isn't really set on that left side. Give him positions, let him run with the ball, let him pick out passes. He's a brilliant off the ball runner and he could be a brilliant asset going forward at any chances. You saw that today, a brilliant assist. Should have got another one, but Havertz missed. Brilliant play again. I really appreciate my Martinelli. And I guess it's time to talk about Kai Havertz. Now, I'm someone that is a serial lover of Kai Havertz. I've defended him so many times, and I think tactically he really makes sense why Arsenal spent a lot of money on him. And I think in this game he was really excellent again, especially in that first half. His physicality is so important for the team. He might lose a lot of duels, but at the end of the day, it creates a lot of pressure for Arsenal and actually gets a lot of people closer to the ball and us up the pitch. He's very good, very physical in there. And his link-up play is improving every week. He's really picking up great positions and being able to pass the ball off and actually run with it. I really liked his goal. Of course, there was a tap-in, but a lovely little move to figure it out, to make that run in between. And that's what we want from a striker, realistically, just to get on the end of these balls and just put them away. Of course, in the second half, he also missed a one-on-one, which he should have scored, and that's very unfortunate. But look, Kai Havertz is not going to be a clinical player. I don't think he will for a very long time, if we ever get to that level. But as long as he can just provide for the team and help the team overall, that's all that matters. I think Saka was excellent again. Like I predicted, they actually tried to put 2 or 3 men on him. They actually had the midfield come deeper to help, and obviously Dan Burn did not play in that position because they probably thought it was a liability. Now, it didn't really work because we had Odegaard, Ben White and Havertz all sort of moving around them positions and sort of creating space, and overall, obviously the individual quality is just so good and they kept going past the players over and over again. Saka had a lot of joy down that side, and in the second second half, scored a brilliant goal, a great dummy, and put it in the bottom corner. That's now 5 games in a row he has scored in the Premier League and has 16 goals this season. I mean, he is really, really top player right now and one of the best players in the Premier League. It's also very good to mention that we scored 2 more corners. Now, we truly are corner FC, set piece FC. It's now 19 we've got this season, which is way more than anyone got last season. The top was 15, and it's way more than anyone's got this season. I think 13, maybe Everton are behind us. Nicholas Jova is really getting his money's worth. He is really helping the team score consistently amount of goals, and they seem to adapt it every game. In this game, we operated for a bit more of a different system where we sort of just flooded the defenders. It seemed to work. I mean, with the Gabriel one, we do the typical run, it gets blocked off. Gabriel has a free header, obviously gets a bit lucky with a deflection, own goal in. But later on, front post, we do the exact same thing. Kivior runs there, takes a little deflection. Karius probably should save it, goes in. But it's brilliant deliveries yet again by Saka and Rice. So good at corner to Heaton, and we're just so good from these positions, just so deadly, and they literally can't do anything. Now, in my opinion, the man of the match has to go to one of the midfielders, either Rice or Jorginho. I think they were excellent. I think we could do another video that you'll see later today about them and talk about how they worked yet again. Their brilliant double pivot is so good against teams like Newcastle, who would just get penned in, and obviously they had injuries and struggled, but they really could not get out, and I really think their defence had a poor game as well. I thought Raya deserves a special shout out. There's nothing he could do about the goal, unfortunately, but yet again, his distribution, his claiming from crosses, proper top notch. Very good goalkeeper, very happy he's at the club. Yet again, I love the role by Odegaard coming deep, picking up the ball, and a big shout out to Kivior, who I did a video about, scored his goal. I think it's going to be given as his, even though it took a massive deflection. His second goal for the club, obviously got one at the end of last season. Really good to see him. He's actually sort of cemented that left back spot. He's so solid defensively that they've really struggled to get past him, and I actually liked the fact that they had to actually go down the other side a lot when Ben White moved up and inverted to sort of find space. Kivior was so solid that side, and when he's got to help with Gabriel and Saliba next to him, there's no chance anyone's getting past him. He has really turned up in the last month. He's one of our better players, and he completely deserves to be starting. Even if Zinchenko comes back, I honestly think Kivior should start, because this is just simply working in the Premier League at the moment. We are just on absolutely fire in the league. That's now 6 wins in a row. We've scored 25 goals and conceded 3. This is some of the best form I've ever seen Arsenal play in consecutive games. It's just such a shame that in the league, in the FA Cup, we just didn't reach them levels, and we're obviously out of the FA Cup, and hopefully we need to come back in the Champions League, but it is going to be hard against a good team. And this is the thing, the level of this Arsenal team is astronomical. They can really play some of the best football at times. If we weren't playing in such an elite league, which is the best league in the world, and having some of the best teams in the world like Liverpool, Man City, Arsenal will be clear and out the best team in the country. I think they really can compete with other top teams, and I don't think European games necessarily define that. I think our players and tactics are good. We just sometimes get a bit nervous, and I think inexperience happens a lot in these games. And this season, I think we are starting to see the fact that we are a lot better than last year. We can play loads of different tactical systems. It's not just the same, and we can also slow it down, pick it up, and do what we want. Obviously, it's taken some time to get there, but I think we're really finding that in the league. I'm very happy with this team's coming together. Thank you guys for watching. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Let me know who you think is your man of the match and what you think of the game. And if you like this video, please go and watch my video the other day where I talk about the way Arsenal can counter Porto in the second leg. Thank you for watching.